his opinion on this, because obviously he's a neutral, so it could be quite interesting to see. We're going to have a discussion about who plays left wing, because I think we'll all pretty much agree the starting 11. But the one thing that we're all probably going to disagree on and have our own opinions on is that left wing spot. So we're gonna thrash it out. We'll speak about the pros and cons of each player. We'll have a look who that player is going to be up against for right back for Man United, and we'll see if we can come to some sort of agreement. And if not, we've got Judge Mo who'll come in and give us his independent views. Let's see who we've got in the building. Big up to Lorcan. Can I explain my last retweet? Okay, I think you mean this one. Let me get this up on screen. Do you mean this one here? So if you mean this one about Etihad Airways is now apparently about to list on a stock exchange, right? So what Stefan's saying is, and it's quite straightforward, is when you're a public company, you have to release more information and more financial information because you're a public company. If you're involved in fraud, which obviously kind of Etihad Airways have been implicated in this, is that you're really going to do that? Are you really going to list on it? Are you going to really volunteer more information? It's not really. So basically, it's a good sign, but obviously we'll have to see. Big up to Brett, big up to Ryan, big up to Karl. I'm trying to fast today, LB. 18 hours in, feel good, bro. It's easy, It's easy. Obviously, I imagine you're drinking water in it. You know what I mean? It's not like you're doing Ramadan, which is different. Where obviously you can't drink water, but yeah, bro. I think fasting is a good thing, man. You know what I mean? And I've watched quite a lot of videos on it. I've done a bit of research on it, and there are definitely benefits to fasting. And what you can also look into. This is a bit deeper, but like, are we meant to? Is our body designed to fast? Maybe. But yeah, let us know when you finish it how you felt it went. Big up to Eric. Big up to Joseph. Danny, thank you very much for becoming a YouTube member, bro. Welcome to the squad. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate the support, pal. Big up to Jessica. Big up to Alvida Zane. Big up to Letty. Narimen. Narimen, that video you sent me was so funny. Big up to Ashaz. Big up to Mackenzie. What do you think, guys? Fresh trim. I've had the beard trimmed as well. All right. What do you reckon out of 10? Big up to Sander, big up to Ashaz, Ichigo, OT, big up to Mark. Hopefully, yeah, you know what? I'm feeling a lot better. Still feel like a little bit congested, but a lot better, man. Big up to Joseph, OT again, Ryan, Roma, Mackenzie again, Roma again, Sander, Christos, Rems in the building, Blackpool Blu-ray. Good to see you, man. I feel like I've not seen you for a while. Hopefully you're doing well. Big up to DJN, big up like man like Moody, Quacko, Luke. Hopefully you guys are all doing well, man. Thank you very much for joining me. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you drop a like. And again, thank you very much to Danny for becoming a member. Links in the description, by the way, if anyone else wants to support the channel. So, yeah, I mean, Doku, Nunes, Oscar Bobb. Jack Grealish is obviously not available. Pep Guardiola kind of confirmed as well that he's going to be out for some time. We was probably hoping that he might be back for the game at Anfield, maybe 10 days. It's not looking likely. Pep Guardiola said Jack Grealish is unlikely to go on international duty with England. And, of course, the international game is after the Liverpool match. So Jack Grealish is going to be out of the derby, which we already knew, but it looks like he's going to be out of the Liverpool game, and he's going to be out of the Newcastle game as well. So fingers crossed Jack Grealish can be back for the Arsenal game after the international break. But it does leave us with, I wouldn't say a problem, but it leaves us with a decision that needs to be made, and a decision which I said it right at the start of the stream, which has City fans debating about which is the better call. And the question is, who should play left wing? Is it Jeremy Doku? Obviously, big money signing, came in this summer. Is it Oscar Bobb? New player in terms of coming through the academy, hasn't played a great deal of football. Or should it be Matheus Nunes, a player who really wasn't signed to play on the wing, but of course can play there because he played there a couple of times over the last couple of weeks. So we're going to go through the pros and cons of it, and maybe we can start by getting a starting 11, and then we can properly, because I think that'll be the best way really of going through, because we can work out what we need from the left winger if we go through the starting 11. So let's have a look in goal. Obviously, Ederson's going to play. That's no debate. Ederson will be in goal. Kyle Walker, I do think will come back in. There will obviously be question marks about whether or not Akanji should start there, but he's the captain of the team. He's fit. He doesn't have an injury. For me, Kyle Walker comes back into the team now. I don't even think it's a debate. Now, here's the thing. Manuel Akanji, we spoke about him quite a lot recently. I think, personally, Manuel Akanji has been our best defender this year. And I've said that a number of times, and I stand by that. And I know a couple of you guys might be throwing Ake out there, and that's cool. I think Ake is a close second. For me, personally, I think Akanji's been our best defender. If Walker's playing, I think Akanji's going to have to be given a bit of a swerve because I can't get him into the team. I can't get him into the team if Walker plays. You know, I'm going John Stones, Ruben Diaz, Nathan Ake. Now, here's the one thing that I might consider. Manchester United are going to play Marcus Rashford as a striker. They're going to play Marcus Rashford as a striker. Where is he? I imagine. If John Stones is pushed up here, do we want Diaz versus Rashford in a 1v1 for pace? Now, the answer to that might be no. But do you swap Diaz out for Akanji just because you're scared of the pace? Now, you might do that. In fact, I think it was the 6-3 game at home last year. If you remember, I'm pretty sure he did do that. He started, am I right in saying he started Akanji and Ake at the back and for the pace, and Diaz was dropped and was all like, whoa, what's going on there? So do you put Akanji in to cover the pace a little bit because Akanji's clearly faster than Diaz, but then Diaz is the leader at the back and he has been playing well recently? Or just stick with Diaz, have a better leader at the back, more probably solid overall in that defensive area, but you are maybe more vulnerable to the counter-attack with pacing behind. I'm going to risk it, and I'm going to say I play Diaz. I get the pace is maybe a slight issue on the counter-attack, but I'm going to play Ruben Diaz and go for that. But Akanji, it's a difficult one for me to drop him out of the team. It is a difficult one to drop him, and I do feel harsh dropping him out, but listen, the game's the game, innit? As Riyad Mahrez would say. Rodri. Well. Do you remember all those weeks ago, guys, when we was going through all the fixtures that he had to go through without getting yellow cards? And there was a very real possibility that Rodri wouldn't have made this game due to suspension for getting too many yellow cards. Well, Rodri has handled himself in these games absolutely superbly. A model professional, one of our best players ever to play in midfield. I think the City's best DM ever, which I never thought I would say after Fernandinho. But he is just absolutely incredible. I see, who was it who was seen speaking about Ballon d'Or? Someone was speaking about it. Can't remember who it was anyway. Someone was speaking about it, saying Rodri should be winning the Ballon d'Or at Manchester City. He's absolutely pivotal. And, you know, I think he might be let a little bit more free. Was it the game against Bournemouth or Brentford? That guy ran past him and we thought he's going to take him down. He didn't take him down because obviously he didn't want to take the yellow. In these next games, I do think you might see a little bit more of a free Rodri. So, yeah, let's see what happens in there. Now, to be fair, the midfield now is also a little bit of a, what do we do? Because obviously Kevin De Bruyne's going to play. That's easy. Do you play Bernardo Silva in the middle in this game? I always say Bernardo Silva in the big games, you might want to put him in the middle. Or do you play Phil Foden and put Bernardo right wing? For me, I'm going to play Phil Foden in the middle and Bernardo right wing. And let me explain to you why. Bernardo there, Phil Foden there. I think Bernardo Silva thrives in the middle in like big open games. But with all due respect to Man United, this isn't one of those games. Man United are probably going to come to the Etihad and sit back. Now, I find that absolutely bizarre because they're not even in the Champions League spots. They're 6 points behind Spurs. Spurs have a game in hand. United need to win this game if they want Champions League football next year. So for them to come and sit on the counter-attack, I think that's a wild... well, it just shows you where Manchester United are as a football club. Liverpool, Anfield, maybe I'd be more inclined to play Bernardo Silva in the middle in this game. But this one, if United sit back, what do we need in here? Yeah, I'll tell you what we need. We need creativity. We need players who are able to find forward passes behind the lines for Erling Haaland. That's what we need. And with all due respect to Bernardo Silva, he's not as good as Phil Foden at doing that. And he's not as good as Kevin De Bruyne at doing that. So for me, I'm thinking who's the most creative players in that midfield? Which players there are going to be able to break down a low block? Phil Foden and De Bruyne. Now, is it a little bit of a risk maybe you could look at it and go, listen, that's a bit of a risk. It is very attacking. It's a very aggressive. But at the same time, we're almost in a position now about the season where we kind of have to take risks, guys. We're behind Liverpool. We're behind them. We have to win football matches. And to win football matches, we need to score goals. So for me, I understand that might be a risk. I would also say, by the way, if John Stones does push into the midfield, it's not like you're leaving Rodri there on his own. You know what I mean? You do have that box four here with Stones, Rodri, KDB, and Foden. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like Rodri's going to be total isolated. You've also got Bernardo Silva, who works very hard. Kyle Walker in this game for me, I would keep him in sort of this area of the football pitch right here. I would not have him anywhere near Bernardo Silva down the wing. And Ake's a solid defender as well. So maybe it's slightly risky in terms of, transitional play. But I trust that with these players here, Ake, Diaz, Rodri, Stones, and Kyle Walker, I trust that you've got enough to deal with any counter-attack. Yeah, I trust that. It's a risk, don't get me wrong, but that's what I would run. Up front, obviously, it's no real debate. Erling Haaland will come back into the team again after those 5 goals in his last match. He looked as well, sharp in that game. He looked match fit. He looked sharp. So for me, I would start Erling Haaland as a striker. No doubts in my mind. And I'm sure everyone agrees with that. And that brings us on to probably the biggest decision that we have to make in this game. And that is who plays left wing. And to help me and to help you decide who should play left wing, I am bringing in footy judge Mo. How are you doing, buddy?
Good. I'm good. Good morning to me.
Oh, yeah. It's early. What time is it where you are?
9:20. Just woke up, actually.
By the way, this guy's a goat. Yeah, I literally messaged him about 20 minutes ago and said, can you come on a stream, bro? Sorry. And he said, yeah. You know what I mean? What a legend for coming on. I want to... I don't know if you agree with me, Mo. And maybe you can have a look at the team that I put out here. But I believe that the biggest decision that Pep Guardiola's got to make this weekend, and I think actually it's a really, really, really big decision, is who plays left wing. Because I feel that the rest of the team, whether you agree with how I've got the system, I think most people agree this will probably be the starting 11. But before we get into the left wing, is there anything here that you would sort of like as a neutral that you think we're doing wrong here?
No. You have to play these players. There is no other way around it. Literally, there is no other way. If you're going to press high and Man United are going to sit back, you'll have to play Kyle Walker and you'll have to play Stone in the midfield. Foden has to be there. What I would do, the only thing I would do here, depending on the left wing, I'll put Bernardo in the middle and Foden on the right, not for him to play a winger, but for him to, a couple of games ago, Foden played on the right on paper. But you know what I mean? Yeah, but he didn't play on the right. I looked at the heat map to see what I was watching with my eyes was good or not. Foden literally was playing very centrally, coming from the right side, very centrally. Think about Man United when they're going to be sitting deep and they're going to do all of this. Kyle Walker is going to go high. We all know that. So someone needs to leave that right winger and just go inside. If they sit deep with 2 banks of 4, you will need to cause disruptions for them. Pep Guardiola, I'm sure Pep Guardiola knows that. You can't just have players holding the lines. That decision that when Phil Foden played on the right but didn't play on the right, you know what I mean? When you play on the right and that will have him have a lot of space and it will actually confuse Manchester United. But that's in terms of personnel on the lineup. I don't know if Guardiola is available. I know he's injured still.
Yeah, he's still not available. So let's say this is the team that he goes for.
Yeah.
Let's say he goes for this team. So the 3 options, as I said earlier, is Oscar Bobb, who is probably more in the mold of Jack Grealish, Jeremy Doku, who is completely different to Jack Grealish, and Matheus Nunes, who I think is a little bit of a hybrid. He's not someone who's going to hold the ball maybe as much as Jack Grealish, but he's not going to take on players as much as Jeremy Doku, someone in the middle. But Oscar Bobb is probably the more natural Jack Grealish type of replacement. Just like off the top of your head, bro, What are you thinking? Like City should do in this one?
Jeremy Doku.
Wow.
Jeremy Doku, terrorize Diogo Dalot on that right side. Make Varane think about doubling up. I don't know who's going to play on the right. Probably Garnacho is going to play on the right, or Anthony's going to play on that right side. For me, Jeremy Doku is head and shoulder above all of them. I know you don't need another guy. You don't need Matthias Nunes in this game on the left side. I don't think you do. I think Jeremy Doku, for me, is the one that is going to make Man United think every time the ball goes to the left side of Manchester City. Every time. Matthias Nunes isn't someone who's going to dribble one-on-one. Matthias Nunes isn't someone who's going to take someone to the line. You need Man United to be thinking about the next play all the time to prevent the ball from going to Jeremy Doku. Let me tell you the difference when we play football. There are a couple of wingers in the world. One winger that the opposition will always don't want the ball to go to that guy. Does that make sense? Like before the play is happening, Kevin De Bruyne has the ball, Bernardo Silva has the ball, John Stones or Rodri. They are watching Jeremy Doku. They don't want the ball to go to Jeremy Doku. Does that make sense? Whatever he does after is different. That's instructions from Pep. Do you dribble? Do you go to the line? Do you just hold it? Do you go back? But Man United will not be thinking about Matthias Nunes as much as Jeremy Doku. They will think, we'll deal with Matthias Nunes when the ball goes to him. But Jeremy Doku is one of these guys like, I'm not going to, like, that pacey winger, you know what I mean? Like Saka, for example. You need to prevent the ball from going to Jeremy Doku. Man City every time creates space for the ball to go to Doku. I think he's very good. When I always think that, like I always tell my players this when I tell them before the game, I tell them I need my winger to be terrorizing the defensive opposition. I need the defense. I need the right back and the center back to be thinking every time the ball goes to the middle, I don't want the ball to go to that winger. Jeremy Doku is that guy. No matter what you say about his final product or whatever, but we know that in the league, every defense fears Jeremy Doku. They're scared of the ball going to him. That's what I think.
So is your? Can I ask you a question? So are you saying then almost that you're picking Jeremy Doku, not necessarily because of what he will do once he has the ball, but you feel that almost that Man United will have to think too much about him, which then are you saying that will leave space for other players
for
like
Foden, for Bernardo, for Haaland? Jeremy Doku also, people just
that's a high IQ play, Mo. That's a high IQ play.
Like there is a lot of people that think. Like, let me ask you something. If you are playing a team and you have Adama Traore or you have Saka on the opposition, you aren't thinking about I'm gonna deal with Saka after the ball goes to him. You aren't dealing with Vinny Jr. after the ball goes to the guy because of the quickness, because of the trickery. The opposition says we want the ball not to go to Jeremy Doku one-on-one with Dalot because Dalot will stop him once, twice, but the third and the fourth time it won't. So the coach will say, no, Dalot, stay close to Doku. Leave the coverage. Don't cover Varane. Don't cover the midfield. I'm gonna tell you, bring back the map, please. Bring back the field map, the lineups.
There you go.
If you play Jeremy Doku and you put 4 players from Manchester United, if you play Matthias Nunes and you put 4 players of Manchester United can afford to be narrow. Does that make sense? In the back.
Because you're saying they're not scared of him.
They're not scared of Matthias Nunes. What is Matthias Nunes going to do on the ball? He's going to take it, dribble back, go back, pass the ball, keep the ball. They cannot stay narrow because if the ball goes to Doku 10 times, he's going to create 3 chances. I'm telling you, this is how coaches think for wingers like
Bro,
Doku.
can I say something? Can I say something honestly? Yeah. I'll say something honestly. Before this stream, I come into this stream thinking no one's going to change my mind. I'm playing Matthias Nunes. But that high IQ play has actually just like screwed my head because now I get it. Because when I was thinking about Doku, I was thinking, yeah, he'll get the ball, he'll take people on, but there won't really be too much end product. Like we won't create any chances. And now I'm starting to think, actually, are you right? If you play Doku, it's not about what he does when he gets the ball. It's about when him being out there. I mean, what was the game? Yeah, chat. What game was we watching? It was like in the last 2 weeks where
he had the ball 102 times.
Yeah,
on the left side.
He gets like doubled up and tripled up on all the time.
Yes, that's what
Wow.
I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
I can't lie, bro. You've kind of just like screwed my head up a bit there because I was
Also,
going
you
for
have Oscar Bobb off the bench that can be brought on.
yeah.
Like, to be honest, like you can bring Oscar Bobb off the bench. You have Alvarez off the bench. So you have to start Jeremy Doku, because I'm gonna tell you, here is the problem with Jeremy Doku. Just hear me out. Game goes on 0-0. What is Jeremy Doku gonna come do if he hasn't started? Like, Jeremy Doku, use him in the beginning. If you go 1-0 up, you go 1-0 up, you go 2-0 up or something. You're playing at home. You can sub him out and put Matthias Nunes, keep ball, play Rondo around Man United, let them run around like maniacs. You know how it is. Bruno Fernandes, these guys run around. You're playing home. You have to have someone. Okay, to be honest with you, having Haaland, Foden, you have to have that winger sometimes that the opposition is just fierce. They don't want the ball to go to him. Adama Traore is an example. San Maximan is an example. Saka is an example. Who else is a very trickery winger in the league? I can't remember. Who else is a winger that if you leave him 10 yards, he'll turn around? I think Jeremy Doku is the one that fits this game. I don't think Oscar Bobb, there is so much there. He needs experience though.
Well, this is what I'm saying about Oscar Bobb. Oscar Bobb is, for me, the closest to Jack Grealish and probably maybe what Pep wants, but to throw him in. I mean, to be fair, he's already been thrown in. I mean, he threw him on at Newcastle, he threw him in at Brentford. These are must-win games, but to throw him in a derby, that would be brave.
That'd be very brave, but I wouldn't.
Do you not have any concerns about Doku's work rate? Because Pep Guardiola has criticised him on the pitch. You've seen him. We've seen Pep Guardiola shout at Doku on a few occasions because he doesn't track back enough. I mean, we would have Ake left back, so it's not like he's coming up against a bum, but maybe United might get like a 2-on-1. You don't have any concerns with that?
No. The reason why I don't think Doku needs to defend. Here's one of the things that people don't realize. John Stones is two players on that inverted winger, on that inverted right back or center back, or whatever. He's two players. You don't need him to defend that much. You just don't. I don't think you need him to defend that much. Because, come on, he can stay up. There is John Stones, Rodri, Ake, Diaz, Kyle Walker in the back. Come on. I don't think you need him to defend. I don't think Man United in this game will attack with more than like 4 players max, bro.
Well, let me, to make it maybe a little bit easier, let me get a United team on it. Now, this is kind of difficult because I know they've got quite a few injuries out, and I'm not entirely sure who's going to be available. But Onana,
I think it's gonna be Dallo.
Yeah.
Dallo right back. It's gonna be Varane, Maguire, Lindelof.
Maguire's out, isn't he?
No, he's out. Yellow cards. He was out. Yellow cards.
No, I thought he was injured. Chat, isn't Maguire injured?
Let me check. I'm checking.
Yeah, Maguire injured. Apparently.
Okay.
Yeah, Maguire. Wow. So it's going to be what? Lindelof? Varane, Lindelof?
And who's left back? Amrabat. Okay, you won the game already.
Is that how you spell his name?
Amrabat. His original name is not like this. Is El Mrabat. Yes.
Oh, I'll just leave it like that then. Okay.
Say
so
Amrabat.
Yeah. So that's the defense. It's not particularly strong. Midfield, Casemiro is available, I believe.
Kobe Mainoo is available.
Yeah, so surely going to play Casemiro McTominay, no?
No, it's going to play Kobe Mainoo.
Really?
Yeah, it's definitely.
What, Casemiro and Kobe Mainoo?
Yeah.
I didn't have that down. Let me add him on.
You didn't add. I thought you. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
There we go.
I need to do.
I thought I already had it, but this is last year's team. Mainoo. Okay, so then what happens going forward? Fernandes, he's hobbling. He might not be available. I think he will be fine, but he was hobbling.
Fernandes never. Staffy said yesterday he never missed a game due to injury, bro.
Never. Oh, okay. So he's going to play. So Fernandes here. And then what?
And then there is Rashford and Anthony.
Surely Rashford's going to play as a striker.
Rashford, Garnacho, Anthony. So I have another thought, though. He's going to shithouse his way, put Anthony on the bench, play Bruno Fernandes, and play McTominay.
Well, they probably should play McTominay. McTominay's the top scorer in there. Behind...
So he can play Bruno Fernandes on the right side and McTominay in the center.
What?
He did
So
it
maybe
before. Come on, he did it before. It's not like something new. I'm not saying something new.
like that.
Yeah, bro. He did that before.
If you know what though, if he plays Fernandes on the right hand side, I'd have less concerns about Doku tracking back. Do you
Are
get
you
me?
concerned about Anthony? You kidding me?
No, I'm not concerned about Anthony.
Okay, so it's like Bruno Fernandes is more dangerous than Anthony, bro.
Yeah, I suppose so. I suppose so. Yeah,
Anthony,
nah.
shit,
This
bro.
Doku thing is. Can I give you my pro Nunes case? In fact, let me
Yeah,
get this.
yeah, go ahead.
Let me give the
Go
super
ahead.
chat. Big up to Cooler Man says, why does City never focus the play on one side, then switch the ball to the other side with Doku? That would stretch defenses and put Doku 1-on-1.
They don't do diagonal balls, Cooler. City don't do diagonal balls. I'll tell you why. One of the things that Pep Guardiola doesn't do is play risky passes. The pass has to be, unless it's to the forward in spaces, the pass has to be precise. So that's why they don't play that. You don't see City play diagonal balls so often. That's not Pep Guardiola's style. Not.
Yeah, no. I agree with that. I agree with that. Big up Cooler for the super chat. Let me give you the pro Nunes case.
Yep.
Right?
Right.
Because I've gone for Nunes in my start 11.
Sell me Nunes.
Okay, I'll try. Nunes, when we see him on the left side, held the ball up well. Yeah, held the ball up very well and played sort of a bit like Jack Grealish. But he also made some take-ons, like Jeremy Doku can do, but not much. Like I said, I feel Nunes is almost like a hybrid option of Grealish and Jeremy Doku. Do you not think Doku and do you not feel that like we need a little bit of someone that can hold the ball up a little bit better than maybe Jeremy Doku? And Nunes could do that. And he also does offer you a bit of pace. He's a fast player, can get in behind, can make a take on Dallo. That's what I was thinking.
I don't, because you have too many players that can hold the ball. Stones, Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, Foden. You have too many of them. Like literally too many of them. Like you haven't. I'm gonna tell you something. When Nunes, you having Rodri and Stones negates the fact that you need a winger to hold the ball. You just don't. But I get what you're saying. Okay, so you have a winger that holds the ball. You have another winger that holds the ball. Okay. You have two DMs that hold the ball. Okay. You have Bernardo Silva that holds the ball. So you have Foden that holds the ball and maybe like play on the spaces and stuff. So like I don't think Nunes, like I don't know why would you play another guy there.
Well, why is it? Yeah, but he's done that.
Unless, so let me tell you, unless, so here is the only, this is going to sound strange, but this is how it is. Unless you bench Bernardo Silva, play Julian Alvarez, you need Nunes. Which is not going to happen, you know.
No, yeah, it's not going to happen, yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Having that many midfielders, what is the reason for it? Like, why do you need that many midfielders? Why?
Yeah, so this is a problem. Do you not think this is a problem?
Okay. Yeah, but this is the thing. You are assuming that Doku will lose the ball, Alex. But Doku in the beginning of the season was fantastic. He almost created chance every time he got the ball. And also, what's the game you played and people criticize Doku that much? Couple of games ago when you draw against Chelsea. Isn't Doku the only one that created two clear-cut chances?
Oh, I can't remember, bro. Maybe.
Doku's still very dangerous. Why people say Doku will lose the ball? Doku doesn't lose the ball. Doku crosses the ball, right? He doesn't. I don't see Doku losing the ball. Like someone doesn't dispossess Doku. I don't get what people are saying. People assume that every cross has to be perfect. The coach, Pep Guardiola, is the one who's telling him to put the ball in the dangerous areas. For him to put the ball in the dangerous area and nobody's there, that's not his fault. And I'm quoting Terry here. My point is, if your last, let me explain to you something. If your last phase of the play is Doku, that's not a problem. Does that make sense? If you keep the ball and the last phase of the play is going to the left side for Doku to have one-on-one on Dallo and try to create a chance, that is not a problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well,
like,
yeah,
why do people assume that Doku should be someone who keeps the ball? You guys are so accustomed to Jack Grealish that you think that the wingers shouldn't be direct, shouldn't create. Pep Guardiola had direct wingers, from Pedro to Sane to Sterling to even Foden sometimes, now Doku. Sometimes the phase ends at Doku. It's going to be him. It's either him putting it on the head of Haaland, him cutting it back to Foden is coming, him cutting it back to Kevin De Bruyne, to Rodri. It can be that Doku can be the last phase as well. People assume that when the ball goes to the winger, he has to keep it. Not every time. By the way, you see my point?
No. I get what you're saying. I guess that, you know what? Maybe as City fans, we are like more sort of like suited to someone a little bit slower, like a Nunes or a Bob, because we won the treble with someone like Grealish last year. And listen, I hear what you say. I thought what you said earlier on about the fact that if you play Doku, that will scare United and that will probably create space for our midfielders. And listen, chat, I do think that's actually a really, really good point. A point that I'd not considered. Are they going to do that if we play Bob or Nunes? Probably not, especially if you play Bob. They'll probably leave him out there and make it more narrow, making it more difficult for the likes of Foden and Kevin De Bruyne. I do have some concerns though with Doku playing a game like this. You know, Doku, his work rate has been questioned by the manager. Yeah, not by me, by the manager's questioned his work rate.
Yeah, I saw him yelling at him, screaming at him to track back.
We've seen him give the ball away cheaply earlier on in the season against Fulham, and then didn't work hard enough to get back. They scored a goal.
Yeah.
So I think that's why we're maybe concerned. He's definitely the best out of the three options at creating. And I guess, again, this might just come back to how much are we willing to risk losing in order to win the game. And if you play Doku, there is obviously an issue in terms of giving the ball away, losing the ball, tracking back. That's clearly a risk. But out of the three, he obviously does create the most. That's not up for debate. It's just, if he gives the ball away, man, or loses the ball time after time, that could be a serious issue. Can we speak about Oscar Bobb? Because we've not really mentioned his name too much, other than that it's obviously inexperienced. Pep clearly likes him. Pep clearly trusts him. You know, he threw him on at Aston Villa when we was getting absolutely battered and took off Phil Foden. That's a big call. Threw him on at Newcastle, got the winner. He threw him into a start against Brentford, a must-win game. Performed well. Do you see any chance maybe of Oscar Bobb starting tomorrow, bro? And if he does, what would you say that his main job is? Is it just to hold the ball up, create space for the likes of Foden or De Bruyne? What do you think about Bobb?
Oscar Bobb is very talented, very, very good player. You like what you see. Still not experienced player. Didn't play a lot of first-team football, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's close to Jack Grealish, but I think he's more talented than Jack Grealish with the ball, with the left foot. I actually like Oscar Bobb. I just don't think that you need him in this game at all. Not now, not starting. He's young. He might get stressed. Diego Dallo might start hacking him or something like that. And I rate the player, but I don't think like he needs to start at all in this game. He can be off the bench. Well, Jack Grealish has the experience on him completely, like years of experience. Listen, Oscar Bobb, I watched him a couple of times when he played. Very talented footballer. For me, in the big games, unless you have to, I don't like to play younger players unless you have to, unless they have been in the team, like Kobe Mainoo, for example, because he has been playing regularly for 12 consecutive games or 13 consecutive games. Yes, you can say he's embedded already in the team. Oscar Bobb is in and out. You know what I mean? Like he's given minutes here. He started, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he started one game at City this season, just one.
Premier League, yeah.
Yeah, one Premier League game. That's the one he started. But he's a good player. But would you put him over Doku? Would you put him over Nunes? I don't think so, to be honest.
I guess it depends on what you want from the player, isn't it?
But what about the experience? Do you really negate the experience at all, LB?
Yes, but the further up the pitch you go, the less important it is.
I think experience is needed everywhere.
Yeah. No, I agree. But
especially in a derby, pressure, especially if the game goes 0-0. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
No, I agree. What I'm saying is, if if it was a centre back, you'd be more like, "Ooh, that's a big risk," because if he makes a mistake, it's a goal. Whereas if Oscar Bobb makes a mistake left wing, then it is what it is. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a wild super chat. Thanks for the $5, but I ain't reading it out. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just think it's a difficult decision. I do think it's the biggest call that he's got to make. Yeah, for me,
would you start Nunes? You still would start Nunes?
I think Nunes is the one that I'd go for. Just because I think he can do a little bit of what Doku can do, but he can also do the Grealish thing a little bit as well. And maybe he can't do it. But the problem is what you said about United maybe being really scared about Doku and then giving space for the midfielders.
Yeah,
that is crazy. Like I didn't think about that at all, and that is very, very true. Because obviously, if we bring the map again, so what you're saying is almost like United would be thinking so much about Doku that maybe what Casemiro might go over here just to give Foden that little bit of room.
Yeah, it's 100%. And Dallo wouldn't be staying narrow. Does that make sense?
Who?
Dallo wouldn't be staying narrow next to Varane.
Yeah.
There is like 5 yards extra space between Varane and Dallo.
So what you're saying is if
Doku
Nunes
plays,
there, yeah,
Dallo's very narrow.
This is happening, which will make it
now,
even more difficult.
Foden is no space. Yes, that pocket might be the opening for Manchester City. That particular pocket between Dallo, which we have seen Foden so many times, get in that area between the center back and the full back, many times. That I don't think that would happen with Nunes. They wouldn't leave that pocket. I believe that's why. But anyway, listen. At the end, that would be me thinking. Doesn't matter if you lose the ball as much, but I need you to literally occupy that area so there is space for Haaland, there is space for Foden to run into that area. That's what I would be thinking, to be honest with you.
I don't know, man. Yeah, fuck with me now, bro, because now I'm thinking, maybe we should go for Doku. Let me have a look at the poll. I did a poll in the chat. Let me see what the poll's saying. It's close, Oh, it's very close. So I did a poll of the 4 players: Nunes, Bob, Doku, Foden, because I also included Foden on there in case you wanted maybe to play.
And who's gonna play it right?
Doku.
What? Why?
Doku right, Foden left, Bernardo Silva in the middle.
That's kind of wild.
But it's an option, isn't it? So I put him on. Foden got 10% of the vote, left wing. Bob got 25% of the vote. That's quite a lot. Nunes got 32% of the vote. And Jeremy Doku beating him just by 2%, 34%. So Doku wins the poll with 34% of the chat saying Jeremy Doku should start on 34%, Nunes on 32%, Bob high on 25%, and then Foden on 10%. So listen, it is very close. It is very close. And massive respect for quite a lot of people there who've picked Oscar Bobb as well. There's quite a lot of views there with Oscar Bobb. So yeah, a lot of people are confident in him. Big up to MMC, says Doku is ass, fast twitch merchant, no end product. These low IQ players rarely succeed. His ceiling is at max. Rashford, Sterling, Oscar Bobb, clear, says MMC. I don't know, man. Listen, I think that's
you're making him look like a bum, bro. Like
that's
in the beginning of the season when I do you know do you want to know something? I actually in the beginning of the season said that Jeremy Doku is an underwhelming signing for City.
Underwhelming. I think. Well, if you're,
I still stand by it.
Are you talking in the context of replacing Riyad Mahrez?
Yeah, Riyad Mahrez and.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, most signings will be underwhelming replacing.
So that's what I said. I said paying 50 million. Did you pay 50 million? 45 plus 5.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
I said 50 million for a winger like Doku who doesn't have experience is a big risk. It might have paid off, it might not. But I thought that the lack of experience with Doku, he isn't someone who played for Bayern, not played in the Bundesliga. He didn't play in Italy. He didn't play in Spain. You know what I mean? He didn't play even in the Portuguese league. I said that's an underwhelming signing. I still stand by it. Manchester City could have had the 50 million for someone better. Who? I don't know. But someone better. What I mean is not someone better technically or faster. Someone who's more experienced. Does that make sense? Jeremy Doku's 21 years old.
Yeah.
He hasn't played. I counted his games. He hasn't played a lot of games. Like apart from the Champions League games he played or something, he hasn't played a lot of
No,
top
he's not.
class
I
football. You
found
know
that
what I
out
mean?
as well.
Top
Yeah.
class football. You know, he hasn't.
He's
He just
not.
hasn't. Kudos would have been an option. Cheaper. Played probably Champions League more. Played in the Eredivisie more. I said Doku is an underwhelming signing. However, in the beginning of the season, I said he's terrorizing the defenses because of the speed and all the stuff. I thought Doku should have been an understudy, but for somebody. That's again, but Jack Grealish isn't my cup of tea, you know.
No, well, yeah, exactly. Because Doku is kind of an understudy, but he's an
Should
understudy.
have been, right?
Huh?
Should have been the understudy. Huh?
Well, he is kind of the understudy. He's the understudy to Grealish. But Grealish just can't play football this year because he can't stay fit.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Grealish, but anyway.
No, I know you're not. I know you're not. But the answer, but you saying he should have been an understudy. I'm saying he is an understudy. He's an understudy.
Still an understudy, huh?
I think if Jack Grealish was fit and playing like he was last year, Jack Grealish would have been playing, and Doku would have had very little minutes this year.
Maybe,
Or
but
less.
to be honest, that's only lately, though.
What do you mean?
No, like only because Doku lately have had criticism. Before that, Doku would start over Jack Grealish.
Yeah, but I'm saying Jack Grealish hasn't been playing well this year. I'm saying if he is the understudy to Jack Grealish, but the problem is Jack Grealish hasn't been playing well and he's had his injury.
Do you think it's because of the injuries Jack Grealish has not played well, or because this is? Or
I don't think you can say it's all just due to the injuries. No, some of the games he just played wasn't very good, and he's shown spells. There's a couple of Champions League games that he played well, but
yeah, very well. There's a game in the group stage he created 5 clear-cut chances.
Yeah.
5 minutes or something, right?
Yeah, but that's right. But the problem is, Mo, that was maybe 1 or 2 games here or there. Like he struggled for consistency. Now, part of that is because he keeps on getting injured, and that can obviously play a toll. But start of the season, he obviously did struggle with consistency, and it's a shame because the last couple of games he played well. Copenhagen, the first 20 minutes, he played well. The last game, he played well, and then got injured both times. So, and now he's out for 3 weeks, which is a shame. But Jeremy Doku, listen, Jeremy Doku's got to prove his. There's a lot of haters on Jeremy Doku. I'm not one of them. Don't think he's good. People are saying that, listen, this guy's not good enough. He loses the ball. His end product's washed. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. I think that I'm willing to give him a chance. You know what I mean? He's only young. As Mo said, he's actually not played that much football in his career. He's played basically like 1 season of matches in total. Yeah. And he is a different style. He's certainly a different style. So, yeah, that's interesting. Let's have a look what people say. Big up to Cooler again. Says, you are right, Mo. If attention is on Doku, and would also give De Bruyne space on the inside right. Spam those passes or to overlap, says Cooler. Like I say, it's almost it's like a high IQ play, isn't it? It's like you almost baiting Manchester United. You're almost saying to Manchester United, go and do it. Go and double up on Doku. Go and triple up on Doku. Because if you do that, we'll then play the ball in the middle.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If Man United are brave and they don't double up on Doku, leaving Doku one-on-ones with Dalot, you back in
Doku will take him apart.
You think so? Yeah.
Doku will take him apart. He will. Diego Dalot has been Manchester United's best player this season. Right? Most consistent player. But in the same time, you have to understand that Diego Dalot, if any winger, that's what we learned when we were younger. Any winger like Doku, if he goes 10 times on the defender, he probably will dribble him 5 times. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The advantage always to the winger, because the winger is more technical. So 5 times Doku going to the line means about 4 chances, 3 chances. That might be a goal or 2. If they don't and they double on him, well, that's Foden area, right between that and the center back, Varane.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of coaches do that. To be honest, put 100%. Wingers out wide. Pep Guardiola used to do this himself. He used to keep the wingers wide to stretch the field. Well, you don't have these wingers anymore, and Man United will freaking be narrow. So you just put someone like Doku, and it's just, to be honest, you tell him, Man United, do you want to double on him and leave spaces for Foden, or you want to leave him isolated with Dalot for the whole game? It's up to you, whatever you want to do.
I might have changed my mind, you know. Chat, I think I might have changed my mind. You've given me something to think about, Mo. And honestly, when doing this stream, I set the stream up and I thought, okay, this is going to be a good conversation because like the chat are going to have different opinions and we can have a look at the chat and I can tell you my opinion and blah, blah, blah. But I really didn't think I was going to change my mind. I'm really now starting to think maybe we should play Doku. Here's a problem. Doku is not good enough in the final third work rate or shooting. Nunes is a lot better. Well, work rate.
Adam, I think you're just saying that.
You think so? You think the work rate maybe is what we're overdoing?
The work rate, yes, but the chance creation. Are we serious? Do you know I compared Doku the other day on my stream with a couple of other with Martinelli and someone else on the left. I can't remember who. And Doku chance creation and like X assists is higher per 90. Is higher than a lot of people in the league. Doku is a risky player. I get it. You guys don't like that. You're Man City fans. You want to keep the ball like for 90 minutes. But sometimes someone like Doku provides something else. Something more direct. You had Sani before. Very direct. There are players that are direct. And he is someone like this. He's 21 years old. If you're not going to teach him both aspects of the game now, why did you pay 50 million for him? Do you see the talent? Every Man City fan will tell you, yes, we see the talent. We see the dribbling. We see the crossing. We see the quickness. We see the trickery. But they don't want to risk playing him at all. Just play the guy. Just play the guy so he can develop. Are you going to put him on the bench all the time? So let's assume that you guys are saying, some of the Man City fan base, yeah, he's not good enough. So you want to sell him then? Or what do you want? Are you going to only play him against teams with their spaces? Well, I'm here and I'm telling you, 99% of the teams you're going to play aren't going to be idiotic like Luton. They aren't going to open up. Majority of the time, still under Pep Guardiola, you're going to have teams sitting back against you. He doesn't cross. Go watch the Chelsea game. Go watch who created two clear-cut chances. I'm not talking about crossing old school. I'm talking about cutbacks on the ground across the goalkeeper. Doku does that. I don't get it. People think crossing is Beckham crossing, old school crossing. No, it's not that.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. I get it. I just, bro. Honestly, high IQ, man. This is why you guys should subscribe to Footy Judge more. Even if you don't agree that Doku should play, you know, he's defo coming here and made us think about our options 100%. Big up to Andrew, says, why would Salah be out for 2 weeks more with cramps? Because he's out of this weekend's game against Forest, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. There is something going on with Salah. I think they're preparing him for the City game. Let's just be clear about this. Mohamed Salah is out because of he wants to play the City game 100% fit. Come on, people. You guys know that, Andrew. You definitely know that. Thanks for the super chat. Forget cramps. I think you have a team good enough to beat Nottingham Forest now. Szoboszlai should be back. So Nunes is back. So I think you have good enough to beat. You have Diaz, Nunes, Gakpo can definitely beat Nottingham Forest. Definitely. Yeah. So you don't need Mohamed Salah. If Mohamed Salah plays against Forest and gets injured, you guys will cry, Liverpool fans.
Yeah, probably. Big up Mohamed also says Man City defo failed to replace Mahrez.
Can I Mohamed, let me just tell you something. There is no player that can replace Riyad Mahrez.
True, man. Factual information.
Well, let's establish this. Riyad Mahrez, as much as I'm Egyptian, I like Mohamed Salah. Riyad Mahrez is special, bro. People don't realize that. Riyad Mahrez is not only the trickery, is not only the Hatem bin Arafah style. He is very effective from the days he went to Manchester City, from his Leicester days. He isn't just a player that is good on the eye. Riyad Mahrez is a trickery player and a smart player. I don't think Riyad Mahrez is someone you could have replaced. Unless you sign Kylian Mbappe or unless you go get Mohamed Salah. Does that make sense? Or you go get Vinny Jr. That's the level of Riyad Mahrez.
And that's why we should have sold him for 25 million, bro.
Was very talented, like very talented.
Yeah, and that's why we shouldn't have signed it. We shouldn't have sold him for 25 million. That was silly. Big up to VTech says, Mo, do you think Doku will be a long-term success?
Yes. 100%, yes.
Big up VTech for the donation. Appreciate it, man. Big up MMC says, if he makes accurate crosses or recirculate the ball quickly, says MMC, obviously, about Doku. Well, he does have to make accurate crosses. Obviously, like, this is the thing. You can take on his man, and yeah, he probably would have some success against Dallo, but he's got to be able to hit an attacking player, right? You can't just spam balls in and get cleared by Casemiro every single time. Otherwise, what's the point? You know, then you are just losing the ball unnecessarily. So yeah, that obviously has to be a thing. Big up Cooler as well says, is that AI predictions?
AI prediction: Liverpool only draw to United and West Ham, and City draw to Tottenham. Arsenal lose to Liverpool. Arsenal draws City. Wolves standing 92. Liverpool 88. Arsenal 88. Manchester City. If Liverpool finish the season with 4 points, I think Man City and Arsenal should look at themselves in the mirror and say we failed. If Liverpool finish the season with 4 points ahead of both teams, I think that's a lot. You don't realize how big is 4 points if the title race is that tight, Cole.
No, I agree. I think if Liverpool win the league by 4 points, that's crazy, man. That is actually crazy.
That's absolutely crazy.
And big up before we wrap up. Big up to Danny with the huge super chat. He also become a member early on. He says, "I'm Danny from Belgium, new member of the Real Blue, Man City, Man United this weekend. If KDB makes 1 assist, he is the real assist king, better than Messi in less games." I did see this stat. He needs, I think he needs 1 more assist or something, which is obviously Danny's saying, to overtake Messi or something like that. I'm not 100% on the actual stat. I did see it flying around Twitter yesterday, but I'm not 100% sure what the actual thing is. Is it like all competitions? It must be. I don't know.
It's per minute.
Oh, per minute, is it?
That's what they want to say. It's called per minute. That's what they want. That's what they want to say. Per minute.
Right. That's pretty wild. And I need some KDB assists anyway for my Premier League bet. But yeah, big up, Danny. Thank you for the big super chat and the member, of course. Guys, we are going to wrap it up, man. Mo's on another stream. You've also got Saeed doing Mag Talk with Big Steve. So you got loads of different things that you can possibly watch. I'm also back tonight at 9 p.m. With Dan United. You guys have been asking for it. LB, when's the Dan United preview? Tonight, 9 p.m. We will be there. So, yeah, looking forward to that one. Big up to everyone that has super chatted, smashed a like, subscribed, commented. You all helping support the channel. Of course, make sure you do go and subscribe to Footy Judge Mo. This guy's absolutely killing it, man. On the road to 20K. Every day I go on his channel and he's like got an extra 1,000 subscribers or something, man. It's absolutely crazy. This guy's putting on unreal content. Wakes up at like 6, 7 a.m. in the morning to do content for you guys as well. And of course, if you're not part of the LB Hussam Thursday show on Footy Judge Mo channel, I don't know what you're doing, man. Unbelievable show. Genuinely, even though it's not on my channel, I wish it was. Even though it's not on my channel, one of the best shows of the week that I do. I really, really enjoy it. Big up to you, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll be back tonight, 9 p.m. for the big preview. Myself and Dan United. Have a great Friday, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.